Hi, my name is James DeCuna, and I'm a systems engineer over at the support group. I want to show you a couple of ways on how to debug or step through JavaScript code. Plan is to demo you a simple web page and then show you a couple of techniques to debug JavaScript code. So let me launch the demo solution on the browser. And the demo solution is a simple to-do list where you get to add few to-dos, and also once you add a to-do item, you get the ability to delete that item. So I'll just show it to you. I want to add few items here, so and let's say we have finished one of the items, so all we do is click the delete, and there it goes. So a very simple to-do list. The browser that I'm using is Chrome, and Chrome was introduced by Google and has a very good JavaScript debugger. So to launch the debugger, you need to right-click on the web page and click on the inspect. And once you do that, you will get a window pane down at the bottom. For our demo purposes, what we are interested in is in the elements tab out here, where you get to inspect the DOM. So all you need to do is, if you want to inspect a certain area, you can just hover over a certain part of the code and it will show you the highlighted area up on the web page. The other tab is the sources tab, which has all the associated resources linked to this web page. So out here it shows you a list of CSS files under the CSS folder, and then a list of JavaScript files under the JS folder, and the index.html. For our demo, we are only interested in index.html and client.js. So with that, I want to move on with doing a quick walkthrough of the code. Don't want to spend too much time there, but just want to do a quick walkthrough. So here is the index.html, which has all the HTML code, and it's a very simple page. On top here, I have highlighted the associated CSS files that are linked. I've also linked the JavaScript files out here, and this is the client.js that gets linked here. The highlighted area over here is where we define the add operation. So you enter the text in the input field, which is defined over here, and then this is the add button definition. But when you click on the add button, the event is the on-click event is set out here, and when you click on, I'm saying, hey, launch add to do method that belongs to the handlers object, and that's actually defined in client.js. Now down over here, this highlighted section is where we are displaying the list, and where you saw the listed item and the delete button next to it. So that gets defined in this unordered list area. When the client.js gets called, I am generating the list. I'm generating the list dynamically. So that's what's happening every time when I call the add button. When I click on the add button, or when I delete a button, this list gets rendered automatically. Now let's look at client.js. So client.js has, this is the file, simple JavaScript code. Plan is to just briefly go through this section, through certain areas of this code. What I wanted to bring to your attention is the view.setup event listeners, where this is where I am actually setting up the delete event. So it basically, what it's doing over here, it's listening anytime you click anywhere in the unordered list area. So this is where I'm adding that event listener. So it looks for if whenever you click in that area, it then checks, it then performs this function. But we'll go through this at a later time. But let's start up from the top. This is where we have the to-do list object. The to-do list object, it stores our to-do items, and the to-do items are stored in the to-dos property, which is a simple array. The add to do method and the delete to do method perform the operations on the to-do array. So this add to-do method basically pushes an item into the array. The delete to-do method basically, based on the position, deletes the item from that position in the array. So that's the to-do list object. The handlers object. The handlers object again is this is each event that we have defined on the index.html. That is actually being called out over here. So when you click on the add button, the add to do method is called out, and whenever you click on the delete to do button, the delete button is called out. The delete to do method is called over here. The add to do function, it basically does it grabs the text that you have entered in the input field, and then it calls the add to do method and saves it to the to do list property, and then it calls display to do list, display to do method from the view object where we are drawing the list. The delete to do, whenever you click on the delete button, the delete to do method is called, and it takes off the element from the to do list property out in the to do list object, and then it again draws the list. So the view object, has three methods. The display to do is where we are drawing the list every time each action is called. Like the add to do and the delete to do. So what it's doing is it's generating the HTML by looping through the to do items. The create delete button is actually called by the display to do method, and you'll see it out here where I'm highlighting that it's entering the to do text, and right next to the text it's actually appending the button next to it. So that's where the create delete button method is called. And setup event listeners is again it's always listening in the unordered list. So anytime you click anywhere in that unordered list, it's then fires this function, and it's checking to see if hey, you actually clicked on the delete button. And if you have actually clicked on the delete button, then it grabs the position that's actually defined in the ID attribute of the delete button. So that's the simple overview of the file. So now let's talk about debugging. So what I want to show you are a couple of techniques. The first one that I want to show you is setting breakpoints in your JavaScript code. So we'll do that for the add operation. So let me go and see this out here. If I inspect this, we have the add to do method defined on the onClick event. So if we go to our sources and go to our client.js and then go to our add to do function, this is the handlers.add to do function. So if we want to set up a breakpoint, then all we have to do is right click over here and add a breakpoint, and there you go. So it has added a breakpoint here. So what does adding a breakpoint do is when you click on the add button, it runs through the code, and whenever a breakpoint it sees a breakpoint, it pauses execution. So I'm just gonna show it to you. Check mail and click on the add button, and now you see that it's actually paused at this line. So now we can actually step through this code and try to understand what's going on over here. So what I want to show you also is out here a few buttons that will help you navigate. So the first button is resume script execution. This basically, if you want to just resume without stepping through each line, you just hit the resume script execution. The next one that I want to show you is stepping into the next function call. This button out here, where if you want to step into something, you click on this button. So we are going to step through this code. So all I'm going to do is step out here. So it's gone here. And now it will actually go into the add to do method of the to-do list object. So when I go here and step into, it's now gone over here, as you see, and it's actually now going to perform the add to do. It's going to actually add the item. You see that it's adding it over here. And now if I come out here, it clears out that value from the text field, and then it's going to call the display to do method of the view object. So if we go there, you will see that now you have it's going to, let's step through this. Now it's going to loop through each to do item, and it's going to draw it. And over here it's creating the delete button. And you'll see it's added the first item. So it's going to loop through the 3 items. Now if you want to see all the items that are all the variables that are at play, all you need to do is you can use this watch, and you can add, if you want to watch an object. So we want to watch the to-do list. I'm going to add your to-do list. And if I go here, you'll see that it shows you the 3 items that are added out here. So this is in real time. You can watch all the variables and objects at play. So so that's that I wanted to show you. So now if I resume script execution, you'll see it's gone through this whole process. If I'll show you how to step out of something. So if I say do my laundry, click add. If I want to step out of this function, then and not go through all of this, then I just click on step over. It has stepped over this function. And then if you want to step out of this current function, then you just click on this button out here, and there you go. It's just stepped out of it, and it's drawn your whole list out here. So that's the first technique that I wanted to show you, is setting breakpoints. The other technique that I want to talk about is you can explicitly use the keyword debugger, type it in somewhere in your functions, and then it will actually invoke the debugger mode. So how do we do that? So for that, I'm going to go out here, and we're going to use that for a delete operation. So over here, I'm going to say debugger, use the keyword debugger. So I've added it out here. And now when I click on check mail, it's launched the debugger mode, and you'll see that the position is 2. So the plan is going to actually delete this, the check mail. So let's step through this, and it's going to call the delete to do method. And now using the position, it will take out, if you notice, this is my array out here. So it should take out check mail. And there it goes. And then once it's done, it's going to call the display to do to render the unordered list. So if I want to step out of this function, if I want to step out of this, I'll say step out of current function, and there it goes. It steps out of the current function. Again, I'll call the step out of the current function, and if I want to step out of or step over the next function, which I don't want it to go here, then I say here, So that's how it does. So this is it's a pretty handy buttons out here. And now if I want to resume script execution, here I go, and there it's taken out the item. So um, these are the two techniques that I wanted to show you. Again, please explore the debugger. It's a pretty powerful tool, and it will help you solve a lot of code issues that you might encounter. So I hope this quick demo helps you out. So thank you for watching.